So, Mike, my son, and let me brag about him, graduated summa cum laude from NC State, got admitted to UNC Law School, thank goodness, on a scholarship. So, uh, that's good. But he's helping pay his way by working full time before school starts in the fall. And as he grew up in the business, he's made a contribution for some time. But being a historian, I guess not yet quite a scholar, but certainly having that experience of digging into the books and so forth, he's been doing a lot of compensation claims. And in anticipation of our call, I said, "Hey, Stephen, what's the three things that you're seeing a lot of on the compensation claims you're doing that's resulting in claims being denied?" Shelley happened to be in the room, so she chimed in too. But I thought it was very, what he said was this: there's three fundamental requirements to receive an award or a benefit for a service connected compensation claim from the VA. One is that you have an actual condition going on. It's not, oh, that happened to me years ago and it hasn't bothered me since. No, no, no. What's going on today? There's something, my high blood pressure, my back hurts, my knee is starting to limp around. There's an actual condition going on. So that's the condition, active current condition, number one. Number two, that in your mind, as you think about it, you go, wow, yeah, I dropped a jet engine on my foot back then and it broke it. They put it in a cast and yeah, I got around pretty good, didn't want to complain. But now years later, I'm starting to get like arthritis on that very same ankle. And I think that's not normal. I think that is being caused by that injury I had. So that would be number one, the current condition. Number two, the event that you believe was the case. And finally, the third element is the nexus or connection that says, and the proper language from the VA is, it is just as or more likely than not, actually 51%, it's more likely than not that the evidence shows that injury you had years ago, that event, is the reason you're having this today. And that usually comes from a doctor or a lay statement or some evidence in the record that comes. So people file a claim, which is not that complicated of a form, a VA 526, it's called EZ, like an IRS form. But you fill it out, you write in, this is what's going on with me, this is the condition I've got. And you should include with that claim, here's why I think it happened to me, and here's my belief and evidence of why that is. Shelley then chimed in, so that's the three elements you've got to have, and that's the reason claims are denied, because the VA doesn't accept or see any evidence of what you said other than your opinion or your word. And Shelley chimed in and said, what's happening is that with all these changes from our new administration, our dear leader wanting to save taxes and reduce costs, we've had a number of layoffs and changes in work environment, which, oh, by the way, is why Shelley, after a few years at the VA, has come back to our office. But that brings a lot of good experience. But her point was the VA has instituted a program of robots, AI, not physical robots like machines like you see on YouTube, but electronic robots that scan these claims, issue a letter out asking for this and that, and giving a very short fuse on the response. And if you're not backed in 30 days, a letter goes out that says you're denied. And many veterans give up because a denial, never take no for an answer. A denial just is, hey, we need more information to meet those three requirements. So sometimes it's in legalese, so you read it and you respond. Again, looking for where's the evidence that I do have a problem. VA should order, by the way, an exam from, it's called a CNP exam, either with a VA provider or somebody to kick the tires and make sure you are not working well.
But Bob, let me ask you though, Dave, is this anything that has a time period attached to it? Like, for example, if somebody's remembering something from 1977, can they actually still go ahead and do that right now? Still file something from that long ago?
Absolutely. If he's suffering from something now, and if the event can be documented that is causing it, and there's some sort of statement that ties the two together, absolutely. That we do a lot of claims that. Now, that doesn't mean the benefit is awarded all the way back to the event. The benefit will only be awarded when you file the claim. So if you're filing it today about something that happened to you 30 years ago, the benefit will be awarded with a current date, not the event of 30. You should have filed a long time ago is the point. You never did. And oh, by the way, you don't have to have been in combat or shot at or overseas. You could be serving stateside in Hawaii and hurt yourself. We have a claim that guy hurt himself playing basketball, for heaven's sakes. But you were on active duty, might have been recreation, but that's happened in service, and now it's affecting him later, and it's a substantial claim. But again, it is an old claim, but it only goes back to the current date you file it.
So how does the VA decide then how much they're going to pay out in this kind of claim?
Well, it is all structured very mechanically. You look in a book, you look at ankle. Part of that process of going in to be examined is okay, how many degrees can I move the foot till there's pain? What kind of mobility? Pain is judgmental. How much is it? So
so there's science, but not really science.
It's science with some judgment of the examiner. So don't hold back on what's going on with yourself.
How much can somebody expect to get, or is that also the same thing? It could be anything from $1 to 10,000 to X amount.
It can be a claim that's awarded. We've got one very recently with a cancer, and the VA acknowledged exposure to toxins. Well, first they acknowledged the veteran had a diagnosis of a cancer. The veteran was exposed to Gulf War toxins. So the award was made, but it was at 0%, no monetary compensation, because there was no active diagnosis. This guy wasn't suffering, if you will, wasn't complaining. He just had the diagnosis with no impairment on his life. So it could range from 0 to 100% if you've got some significant malignant prostate cancer where you're incontinent, ED, you're affecting your they call it your creative organ, your sexual function, and you've got this cancer going on down there in your prostate and being treated with active. That'll be 100% because you're really messed up. Your life is messed up. Of course, you've got to list all those complaints. You're incontinent.
When we started doing these interviews 6, 7, 8 years or so ago, a constant thing that we would talk about on so many different topics is that so many people, whether it's the veteran themselves or their widow or widower, know nothing about these kind of benefits. Is this one of those things that so many people don't even know about that they should do?
Absolutely. The VA doesn't advertise. You don't see billboards as you drive down the road that says 1-800 call us if you got a problem. Why is that? I don't know. I guess it's about money, and the VA doesn't make it easy if you figured out, hey, I do have a claim or I can file. So yeah, that continues to be the VA or people aren't aware of the fact that these benefits exist. The VA is the second largest cabinet agency by number of employees in the entire government. It is a huge commitment to take care of veterans. Even with the layoffs and cutbacks, over 400,000 employees. But that also portends what kind of answer do you get when you call 1-800-VA. Depends on who answers the phone and sometimes what they had for breakfast. So I don't know how you get the word out, except mingle with your fellow vets in American Legion, VFW, little networking groups you have. Just pay attention. Don't sit there and say, no, I don't want no help. I don't need no help, and I don't want to be a burden. No. You served. Time was served. Time to honor. That's what we've got this agency for, and these benefits. You paid the taxes and you served back when. You might as well pursue the benefit.
So somebody watching this sees this, here's what you're saying, says, oh my God, I didn't know anything about this. I've had a condition for X amount of years. What's their next step? What do they do? Do they log on to the VA website? Do they make a phone call? And at what point in time should they say, I'm not getting any help if they don't, and they want to reach out to you?
Absolutely write this down. Go to the va.gov website and type in VA form 0966, VA form 21-0966. It's the simplest VA form you'll ever deal with in your entire life. It's idiot proof. If it takes you longer than 3 minutes to fill out, something's very wrong, because this form called intent to file merely says veteran's name, date of birth, social. That's it. Now there's some other blocks in there, a file number, case number. Don't have to worry about that. Name, date of birth, social, address, I suppose. And then you sign it and get it to the VA as instructed. And the submission of that form merely says, hi, I'm the veteran. I think I served back when, as near as I can remember. I think something happened to me. I think it's bothering me today. And if I could ever figure this out, I'm going to file a claim. Thank you very much. So you get that form submitted, 5 minutes, huh? The rule is that the first of the month after that form is submitted becomes an established potential claim date. If somebody did this in the next 2 days, here we are at the end of the month, then the first of the following month, in this case where we're talking, it would be May 1st, becomes the claim date. And you get a letter from the VA in 2 or 3 weeks that say, yeah, we heard you. We got your statement. Here's how you're going to file a claim. Thank you very much. And then you download they'll tell you what to do. And you go to a county veteran service officer through your county. There's on the VA website, you can click on where do I find a VA agent or veteran service officer. We're on there. We do these across the country, but you can look up Senior Veterans Council, and you file that. The key is get that intent to file in, and then get a response from the VA. Now, hey, I got to explain to the VA on that form that they're going to send you, or the link, what happened, what's going on, why do you think it was caused by the service, and what proof do you have or evidence do you believe there is a connection? The VA then has what's called an affirmative responsibility to respond to you, even if it's by a robot, to tell you they don't believe you, they don't get it, and then they'll either deny it or ask questions. At the point the claim gets denied, that's really where we get involved and can start assisting you as VA accredited agents, or your local VSO can. But that initial claim filing will guide you on that. So you kind of got to get it started, and then you come to us when it gets denied.
Let's say it's not denied, somebody gets approved. How long does it take in your guesstimation? Because I think that's the best you can do, is just guess, because every case has got to be different. But right, what is the typical length of time between something beginning with the VA approval and then actually, the veteran getting the payout?
It'll range from 90 days to 3 years or 5 years. We're working on claims that go back 3 years, because you go back and forth, developing the claim. Good news, bad news is, I guess before the recent administration coming in, there were about 300,000, a backlog of 300,000 claims. And the VA has now sent out a letter very proudly saying that's been reduced to under 100,000. Unfortunately, what they don't explain is they got that reduced, that backlog of claims reduced by just having the robots deny till they die. But if you get a denial, don't take no for an answer. Look at what the reason VA denied it. So they have to tell you, and then you respond to that reason with, no, wait a minute, here's some additional evidence. And that can go on for a long time back and forth, but never accept no for an answer.